What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great, and even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So hey, look, oftentimes I truly believe that within oneself, as well as projected onto others, is the inability for the understanding of knowing that people that are here that are seeking truth and clarity oftentimes have a dark entity attached to them. You know what I'm saying? Whether attached to them at birth, attached to them through, you know what I'm saying, relationships, friendships, bonds, situationships, however you see fit for yourself. You know what I'm saying? That interferes in the way of a person honestly being themselves and speaking the truth, because again, like I said, a lot of these dark entities, they're not understanding and clear of truth. They want control, so they'll make it to where your real, true, authentic energy is blocked by the shadow of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Whatever dark entity you're attached to, people don't see you for you. They see the shadow. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes it scares people. It makes people be afraid. It makes people not want to come close, simply because a lot of people either are stuck in the illusion or oftentimes even afraid to come close and try to gain clarity, So they'll stay away, or they will treat you in a way where they see your shadow. So to them, it becomes an envious competition type of game. You know what I'm saying? There's something inside of them that's telling them, hey, look, they have something that they embody that you don't, but at the same time, we see the shadow aspect of who they are, So that's why it's very important to, understand and do away with what the universe tells you to, because the shadow aspect of yourself, if you haven't cleared your backyard, will also be a part of you, and they will operate in that shadow and play competition games where they think they're better, they got more control, they get more people to talk to them, people want to be around them. Like, all the things that you do not have are the things that they strive for. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't understand energy, so they don't realize that they're operating out of an aspect of your shadow, which is not really truly you. You know what I'm saying? So what you may acquire in your life from being truly yourself is something they're trying to aim towards, but they're being a shadow aspect of who they are, not really truly being who they are. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think that's the part that oftentimes makes people a little, should I say, confused, because when it comes down to understanding how dark magic works, it is a psychological game in the mind, because physically on the surface, everything looks fine. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who are psychologically dangerous, but not physically dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So the war is really going on in the spirit, not so much physically on the surface. So what happens is, when a person feels as if they're in competition with your shadow, now they start to come at you with the psychological, war and weapons they have in their mind to attack you, which is also a shadow aspect of themselves. You know what I'm saying? But it is not until you start to play the psychological game that you start to realize and shed the shadow that gained all the attention, admiration, and love off of who people wanted you to be, and your true self starts to emerge. So what happens is, the energy is so powerful in that your true self starts to emerge and your shadow starts to just be behind you. So you won't get the attention, love, and admiration that you would normally get because you were being a shadow aspect of yourself, which oftentimes people are not aware of the fact that it is a dark entity attached to you, so you would never be able to realize who you truly were, and people gravitate and understood that and acknowledged that because that dark shadow moved in a lot of dark places. You know what I'm saying? In the spirit, that dark shadow was extremely powerful. It basically corrupted the whole world to think in a negative type of psychological mental manipulation of competition killer type of game, instead of, if I'm myself and that person's their self, you know what I'm saying, and we have the ability to stand in our own power, why would we have the ability to possess envy, jealousy, and negativity towards someone that, you know what I'm saying, we don't even understand why we're attacking them for? We just know that somehow they're a threat to what we possess. And so you start to psychologically go into warfare with them until at some point you get tired of what comes with fighting with someone who is just a shadow aspect of you, not really truly who they are. And you don't know who they truly are because you're only dealing with the shadow aspect, which is what you see when you first come into contact with them. You know what I'm saying? And listen, you can look at it in a bad way, or you can look at it in a positive way, for the fact that I've had the ability to sit side by side with my shadow and chop it up with my shadow, and you know what I'm saying, smoke blunts with my shadow, drink with my shadow, until I got to a point where I got tired of that. I was over that. I wanted to truly be myself, and the shadow aspect of me got upset. You know what I'm saying? Which is also the dark entity that's attached to a lot of people that feels as if now you're a threat to them because they're still in their shadow. But I think what a lot of people fail to realize is the fact the moment that you decide to attack someone that is friends with their shadow but not actually their shadow is when certain things start to appear in your life that otherwise will confuse you, which will make you either change the patterns of the way you've been moving in your life, or choose to operate the same way and have those same things come into your life, will make you feel like the person that you're attacking is the one that you should keep attacking. But what I think a lot of people are still not understanding is that person oftentimes has, again, like I said, sat with their shadow. They know who their shadow is. So you keep attacking them is going to have unforeseen situations in your life that keep happening, and you're not realizing that it's not because you're attacking that person, but it's because you're moving in the same direction in the course of your life, which causes certain reactions from people that have figured out how to become friends with their shadow. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's complicated because it's so like a mirror type of thing in life, like us humans mirroring energy back to each other. It gets complex because sometimes we don't know who's the mirror and who's the entity, you know what I'm saying? But again, you got to get a chance to understand yourself, and once you do that, it will show to you clearly, you know what I'm saying, the shadow aspect of who you are, and then who you really are for real. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it, that shadow aspect of yourself oftentimes is the energetic parasite of someone else that may have mirrored the aspect of you that you got close with, but they tricked you because they finessed you with all the good things in life, you know what I'm saying, and pretended like they was down for you, but really the dark side of them was still very much invested in being dark. They just needed something to control. So if you're blind and you can't see that, you end up getting put into their energy, and now their energy is yours. You know what I'm saying? And it basically mirrors back to people the dark version until you fully heal yourself to be able to show the light side of yourself. And listen, that takes time and a lot of work. And it is extremely difficult. It's not easy, but at the same time, once a person realizes that about their self, what happens is the spell between two shadows it breaks, and that person is able to see themselves for who they really are, as well as, you know what I'm saying, seeing the person that could be a truth teller, or, you know what I'm saying, a true speaker, or someone of value spiritually, they tend to not attack them anymore. But again, you may not see it basically appear in the physical world because it's so much work that still needs to be done physically, that a lot of what's going on is happening spiritually. So people can't understand really what they're experiencing. They just know that once they're able to battle their shadow and heal their shadow, a true version of them comes out, and they start to be able to see a person for who they truly is, which breaks the spell. You know what I'm saying? Not only for that person that they're targeting, but also for them as well, which is basically an evolutionary growth period where your mind is no longer trapped into this shadow aspect of you that operates on a certain level, but is not you for real. You know what I'm saying? It's complicated, but again, at the same time, it's really not, because you got to think of it like, why do we oftentimes click up with, you know what I'm saying, maybe the same sex as us who have psychological warfare? Because they are going through the same thing we probably went through psychologically. You know what I'm saying? But once you've hidden that about yourself for so long, now your ability to try to control someone else with that same pain becomes easier, because you've mastered how to put that pain in the back and control anyone else that is not figured out how to master that pain inside themselves. So basically, it's two shadows battling out. You know what I'm saying? And once the two shadows do the healing work necessary to heal themselves, they both die and they operate in their true authentic form. Listen, it's the best experience you'll ever experience in your life, whether you want to face it or not. But again, there are a lot of people very strong at hiding, you know what I'm saying, their closet skeletons, as I call them, you know what I'm saying. But then you have people that it shows. You know what I'm saying? When they're going through a battle spiritually, it shows. And I truly believe the reason why it shows in those people is because they are so tired of not being able to know who they are and being pulled out of, you know what I'm saying, being able to realize who they are, that they're showing. You know what I'm saying? Even though you would have to be one that has walked with your shadow and sat with your shadow to be able to see that inside of a person, because the normal response would be, oh, it's nothing, to label it to something, even though it's much deeper than that, you know? But again, it's a psychological war type of thing that's going on, and the ability to understand growth and be strong enough to handle what's going on currently is doing the work inside yourself. Everybody won't be able to do the work, and everybody won't be able to go. That's just a part of what comes with it. But you will know and understand that as you grow and you battle your shadow, and now you sit with it, you know what I'm saying, the people that oftentimes can't go are the people that don't know their shadow. So they're going to try to drag you down because you've done the work necessary to elevate, and that's something they're not ready to handle. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to keep you at a level that benefits them. That's the chaotic part about it. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people stuck and stagnant, because they want to be stuck between both. And again, once you operate and understand your shadow, and then you are who you are, you know how to battle between both worlds. But you also know that you are not your shadow, so you know how to have discernment and boundaries when it comes to people and situations that are trying to take you back down there. It's not that you don't know what's down there. It's not that you can't rock with what's down there. Trust me, I'm with all that shit. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, if I'm trying to grow, I cannot go back there with people who operate solely in their shadow, because they have no idea who they are. And I will not allow you to take me back there, because that's going to stop my progress in life. And if anybody is ready to understand what's going on right now, it's the process of evolution and growth. It's the ability to know the trauma, the pain, the hurt, and everything that caused us to operate out of a volatile, predatory aspect of who we are is not who we have to stay. You know what I'm saying? But some people, like I said, listen, that hate and that pain and that, you feel me, that torment and the things that they're not willing to face can weigh a person down if they're just refusing to face the feelings that come with that. Like, some people just are so hurt by their past and what they didn't achieve and who they didn't become that they just rather not face it. So what happens is now you're faced with an energy that copies and mimics you. You know what I'm saying? And basically has a whole blueprint on everything you do and studying you and watching you to try to interfere with that so they can take it and make it for themselves, because they have absolutely no ability to go within, you know what I'm saying, and heal that aspect of themselves that causes them to copy and mimic someone else's energy instead of find their own. It's chaotic, but it's so real. Once you find your own energy, and once you truly know who you are, you watch your world change. You know what I'm saying? Watch you be able to operate in a way where now you can see clearly. It's almost as if the frustration, the pain, the envy, the jealousy, you know what I'm saying? The ability to just hate someone for no reason, it disappears. And you're able to live a life where you're understanding of, okay, if I don't rock with that, I just don't rock with that. If I ain't cool with that, I just ain't cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hate you. I don't have no animosity towards you. I'm just in a level now where I've grown in my life. And it's beneficial for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I want better. So, listen. This dark energy that has been attached to a lot of people in life feared the day that they would be able to speak the truth. Feared the day that they would see through the illusion. Fear the day that they can be able to see through the darkness that basically ruled the planet for so long, that kept people in a certain state of mind, so that when the battle came between light versus dark, the light would lose and the darkness will still rule, because it has been ruling for so long. So the ability to see clearly it will take some time, because you have to fix your patterns. You have to operate and think in a different way. You're targeting someone simply because of your old thinking pattern. If you change it up, life will change. But until that happens, you'll wake up every day still trying to fight a war that, you know what I'm saying, you might not can't win because you're still thinking the same. You got to operate differently to awaken yourself up to a new version of yourself. Means you have to change the way your brain programs itself. And that's not an overnight job. That's not a 2-week job. Sometimes that takes months, if not years, to actually get that programming fixed and accelerated. But sometimes people come into contact with people that accelerates that growth. You know what I'm saying? But they can't quite be prepared to acknowledge it just yet, because again, people be having commitments still. You know what I'm saying, to the other side, and they're still working on themselves. And it's not until, you know what I'm saying, they're ready to completely give it up that they're able to focus in who they truly are for real. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, I'm ready to build businesses with niggas. Like, everybody got their own shit going on. I don't want to hang around with nobody that don't got shit going on, because what they're gonna do is try to target me because I got something going on and they don't. You know what I'm saying? Have your own motion. You know what I'm saying? Have your own shit going on. You know what I'm saying? That's way more sexy than you trying to downfall on me because you don't got your own shit going on. But again, you have to fix your mind and change the way you've thought all your life, because that dark entity doesn't want you to grow, and it will stay attached to you until you learn to do the work that is meant for you to elevate and grow, to you know what I'm saying, have something worth something. And again, we are strong. I don't care who it is, the light or the dark, you know what I'm saying? We are strong at the end of the day. I fucks with the darkness simply because they're a shadow aspect of me, but they strong as hell. You know what I'm saying? They know how to get through some shit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the light may be a little hard to handle at times, because you can think too much with your emotions and not logic, and you may feel too emotional towards the situation, not understanding, listen, you gotta dump all that emotional shit away and understand, this is what it is. This is how it's gonna be. I either fix it and ditch my emotions towards it, or I'm gonna stay the same, and my life gonna stay the same. And a lot of people can't understand what's going on until they're going through the motions, and they start to feel it and they start to understand it. Because trust me, a lot of what's felt for changes is the unspoken. It's the things that people are not speaking on, but they feel it and they know it, and so they're trying to hold on to that control. So they try to do things in their life to one up somebody or downplay somebody, because the dark entity is trying to get them to stay where they've always been their whole life. Waking up is tough, but it's the most beautiful experience you'll ever experience in your life. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful and understand that you could be targeting someone that is best friends with a darkness. And when that happens, you almost can't win. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so rooted in the darkness of who they are that, you know what I'm saying, they will not back down to being approached with darkness. It just won't win. You know what I'm saying? Because they face that aspect of themselves already. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.